Brian Grant, welcome to Livewire.
Thanks for having me.
We tried to get you the most comically small chair available.
I wasn't sure it was going to hold me for a second. So
I'm still not sure. You're still a big guy. It turns out when you leave the NBA, you don't get shorter.
Not yet, anyway. Not yet.
Was always such a fan of your playing style. You seem to be a guy who had his own thing going on the court, whether it was your tattoos or your hair. You were one of the first guys I remember to have that long hair going. You were just tenacious out there. And you were obviously a physical specimen. You know, you're playing this game that... Not sure if you remember that, but your number was 44.
Changed a couple of times, but yeah, 44 is my best number.
So, what was the first indication for you that something was changing about your body and that something was going wrong?
It would have to be in 2006 when I was playing for the Phoenix Suns. I started to realize that I couldn't jump off my left leg as well. I was more uncoordinated, but at that point it was my 12th year, and I just figured it was just physical damage that I had done to my knee, but I later found out it was Parkinson's.
And it goes from being a persistent problem to a problem that you think I need to go see the doctor about? I mean, when did it start to really progress for you?
Well, it started off in the form of depression. In most Parkinson's patients, that's usually the indicator. I went through like 9 months of deep depression. And then after that, I had a small skin tremor in my left wrist. Then it went into my fingers, and then the whole hand started to tremor. And at that point, I moved from Miami because I figured maybe if I went back to Portland, where it was nice and clean air and everything, then maybe that would help me out. Not that Miami's not clean, but I've always loved Portland. And it didn't go away. So at that point, I went to OHSU and saw the neurologist, and he told me I had Parkinson's.
What goes through your mind when you get that kind of news, and particularly because you're a guy, again, who's been so physically gifted throughout your life?
Well, I think it's tougher it's tough for anybody who gets this diagnosis. But for me, I've always been so used to when something goes wrong, go see the doctor, get a surgery, give a pill to take for the pain or something anti-inflammatory. But this was something that wasn't going to go away, and I had to take some time to kind of wrap my mind around it and kind of forget about the athlete. Now it's Brian Grant, the person who's living with Parkinson's.
And what is that? What's that look like for you on a sort of daily basis? What kind of medication do you take? And also, is there physical? I mean, does your time as an athlete help you in the physical therapy aspect of it?
I believe that I've progressed relatively slow because I was an athlete. I was having symptoms in 2006, and it's 2013 now, and I just recently started medication. It's not working too good, but I just recently started, and it's kind of like a trial period. You're adding something, subtracting something, and just trying to find that right mix that works for you, because each and every Parkinson's patient is different. No two are the same.
Has it been difficult for you to be comfortable being out in public when you have your body's acting differently now?
Not here in Portland. I mean, Portland, they accept me for whatever's going on. And but I will tell you, last summer we went on spring break, and we went on a cruise with another family. And that was the most uncomfortable I think I'd ever been, because in Portland, most people recognize me as one of the retired Blazers, but being in New Orleans and on a cruise ship, nobody really knows who you are, and it became uncomfortable just because I was out of my comfort zone. But as a Parkinson's patient, that's the one thing we need to do, is come out of our comfort zone and live with the disease and not hide from society with the disease.
Have you been able to... I mean, have you been able to try to bring that message to other people who maybe aren't famous and really inspire them? Because it's like, wow, I don't feel great about going to my job at the carpet warehouse when I have, a tremor. This guy is an NBA star, and he's walking around dealing with the same thing.
Well, I like to look at my NBA career as the beginning point of, what was in store for my life. It was the platform or the catapult that, kind of shot me into the position to be able to help other people. When you get this disease, the disease isn't the only problem. You still have to be a father, a husband or boyfriend, fiance, whatever. Still have to take care of your animals. I mean, life goes on. And, I see a lot of people who get this disease and they just shut down and close up, and they wait for that cure that may never come for us. So what we're trying to do is encourage people to get up and take an active role in not your recovery, but at least being able to extend, you know, the way that you're going to be able to live the next 20, 30 years, hopefully.
How common is early onset Parkinson's? Is the thing that you have?
Well, there's about 400,000 people in this country that suffer from young onset Parkinson's. When they say young onset, it means 60 years or younger. But, you know, we've seen the numbers go up each and every year since I've been diagnosed. So that tells us that, you know, if it's not hereditary, it's definitely environmental.
Where do you feel like the science is moving on this in terms of, I mean, does it feel to you, because obviously you're looking at this very closely now, it affects you so personally. Do you feel like strides are being made? Do you feel like enough attention is being paid to it?
You know, I've kind of got mixed feelings towards that because I think there are people out there outside of the U.S. who are really experimenting with stem cells and things like that that may end up finding a cure. But, you know, sometimes as a patient, you tend to wonder if they really want to find one because, you know, it's a big business in being sick, whether you're having PD, cancer, you know, any other type of disease.
Are you able to, like, play basketball with your kids still? If you're actively doing something, do the tremors subside?
No, they're there, and the reason I can't play with them has nothing to do with the Parkinson's, it's these bad knees. So. Yeah.
You got a lot of problems, buddy.
You ain't
So what would you like, for all the people that are going to be hearing this out through the radio and even the people that are here in the Alberta Rose Theater, what's something you'd like to really convey to people as a way they can help, an awareness that they can have, and also a way they can treat somebody who has Parkinson and who is manifesting tremors? What should people be doing?
You know, treat them the same as you always remembered them. Because
make fun of their knees?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, the last thing I think that any person dealing with Parkinson's disease or any disease as it comes to that, you just don't want to be treated differently and don't want to be pitied. You know, we want to be able to stand up tall and be proud of who we are, regardless if we got this partner called Parkinson's following us around everywhere we go. Because just because the mind's going bad and you're losing control of the body doesn't mean that you're losing control of yourself or who you really are. So that's the biggest thing.
Is it physically exhausting to have your body moving involuntarily? I mean, does it just tire you out? Because
for me, when I get nervous, like right now, you know, the tremor is going, and in my mind, I'm trying to fight the tremor, and what it does is it creates a lot of heat. So I'll start sweating. The reason why I got a jacket on, I would have loved to have come out in my Catch a Fire t-shirt and my flip-flops, but I knew that if I did that, I'd have sweat right through it, and I'm like, man, what's going on with him? He's sweating all over the place. So.
You're doing a really good job, and I don't know if you know this, but they're looking for a new host for this show. So if you play your cards right, you seem pretty comfortable up there. All things being considered. This is probably a dumb question, probably not the last one I'll ask before this show is over. Is being in the NBA as freaking awesome as it seems like it would be?
It is, especially the years that I played, I ended up, you know, I had the opportunity to play with a great team like Arvydas Sabonis, Scottie Pippen, Damon Stoudemire, Rasheed Wallace, Jimmy Jackson, J.R. Ryder, and Jermaine O'Neal. I mean, we were just a stacked team, and unfortunately in 2000 we just couldn't get it done. You know, we tried, but.
Do you think your ability, you were one of these guys who just seemed to want to get to the ball more than other players? You know what I mean? If it was on the boards, or if it was, you know, just it seemed like if there were two guys, if it was you and another player and you were both going after the same ball, or you were trying to take it to the hole or whatever, you would get it there so often, you'd get the ball, and it seemed like you wanted it more. Is that actually a thing in the NBA? Because you guys are all physically like gifted. Are guys like you just more sort of, you know, you just want it more?
Well, the thing that I learned at an early age from my coaches is that you can't control whether the ball is going to go in the basket. You can't control whether you're going to be able to dribble it up and get every rebound. But the one thing that you can control, that you're totally in control of, is your effort. And so I always try to put 110% out on my effort. And when you do that, you're going to give yourself a great chance of getting that ball when it's out there to grab.
Is that a thing? I mean, that learning from a young age that, like, there's going to be a lot of times when there's something really hard, like getting past this other tall athletic guy to try to get this basketball, and all the time you spend in the gym as a kid and sweating and doing the unfun parts of being a high-level basketball player. Is that stuff that you think has been good training for this next phase for you?
I think so. Just having to, I mean, many games, I'm not the only player that dealt with it, but nights where you just don't know how you're going to get it done, and you just played 2 games in 3 nights. You have another game coming up. Your knees are swollen. You know, you get these deep muscle bruises in your knees and in your thighs, and you just somehow find it within yourself to be able to go out there and perform. Maybe you don't perform at your best, but you still go out there and get up and down the court. And I think just that discipline and all the, you know, regiments, physical regiments that we've gone through have definitely helped me with dealing with Parkinson's.
I hear you. We tape like 2 shows in a row sometimes here. It's killer. It's like hot tea the whole next day. Brian Grant, thank you for coming on Live Wire.